Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. I'm your host, Jose Rocks, and today we're getting into another ranking video. So Regulation F was just announced yesterday, and I wanted to go ahead and do a ranking video and see what I think about, the new Pokemon that are going to be available to be used in the Regulation F. So this is pretty much going to be something this is going to be added on top of Regulation E. So if you already know, Regulation E came out 3 months ago, or 2 months ago today. We have one more month left of it, and now we're going to be adding these Pokemon to that pool of Pokemon. I am interested to see, are they going to do like a ban list regulation, but I'm not 100% sure if they are going to be doing that. And it's looking like maybe Regulation G might be like a restricted format if they don't do like a ban list format. But other than that, we do have a good amount of good Pokemon coming back, so I want to go ahead and rank them. So I did go ahead and put these legendaries that are coming back in the ban list because we won't be able to use them just yet. And I want to start by saying Meteor. I don't know what this Pokemon does. I never used it because I started playing competitively in Scarlet and Violet, so I never got to, not Scarlet and Violet, in Sword and Shield Generation 8, and I never got to use this Pokemon, so I don't really know what it does. I know it has like a bunch of forms and stuff like that, so I'm gonna put it right here because just looking at these stats, like I don't think it does anything, but you all will probably know more than me because I didn't, like I said, I didn't use this. I don't know how good this ability is or what it does, but just looking at the stats, I mean, the stats are not too good. So we'll see what it can do. I really don't have any idea what this Pokemon does. When I stopped playing Pokemon when I was younger, it was about Generation 5. And then when I came back, we were already in Generation 8. So I kind of missed Generation 6 and 7. So they weren't in Sword and Shield. I didn't really get to play with them. So I don't really know what that Pokemon does. And also, I want to put... I'm going to go ahead and rank Latios and Latias. I saw them. They're on this list, but I don't know if I saw them on the Regulation F list as Pokemon coming back. So I'm not 100% sure are they going to come back, but they are going to be pretty good. So I'm going to put them in B for right now. In the current format, Dragon typing is very good. Having Psychic Stab is really good for hitting Amoonguss and Iron Hands, which are two of the most common Pokemon in the format right now, and two of the most like oppressive Pokemon. So being able to hit them for super effective is good. Being able to wall the Ogerpons is good. Being able to hit Roaring Moon is good. They are weak to Flutter Mane, but Terrestrialization does fix that, so you can somewhat get around that. And they are immune to Landorus Stomping Tantrum, so in order for Landorus to deal, like, well, I guess it can U-turn into them. Other than that, it can't click Stomping Tantrum, right? So like the ground coverage won't work into them. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in B. I'm not 100% sure if they're gonna be coming back, but I do believe that if they are, that they're gonna be pretty much B, which is plays his role pretty well, reliable type Pokemon. So we'll start from the top. Venusaur. So Venusaur, if you all know, was a really oppressive Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Especially, it was still good in the restricted formats, but especially in like Series 7, Series 9, like Venusaur was on like almost every team, like the Sun Team core. I think it's gonna be a B Pokemon right now. You're gonna see it on Sun teams, but I don't think it's niche. The Sun teams will be able to utilize it very well with fast Sleep Powder and grass and poison coverage. I still think Amoonguss might be a better poison and grass type just because it's bulky, and Venusaur kind of gets shut down by like the weather being changed and not being like that fast if it doesn't have the chlorophyll ability. But I think it'll still be good. It can't hit Flutter Mane for super effective because Flutter Mane is part ghost, so it's neutral to poison. Because it would have like the niche of being able to hit Flutter Mane if Flutter Mane was full fairy. It can hit it for super effective if it terrors, and it can resist it. But Shadow Ball is still doing like decent damage into you, right? Next we have Blastoise. Blastoise with Shell Smash is gonna be pretty good. I think it's probably gonna be a B tier Pokemon. It's a bulky water type that can take a hit. It's gonna be good next to like Indeedee or Redirection, getting Shell Smash off and going for like Water Spout. I think that you're gonna see it pop up here and there, but I don't think that it's gonna be on a level to where you see it on every team. Vileplume, this is literally just a wannabe. It's just worse Venusaur. It's slower than Venusaur, less bulky, but does pretty much the same thing with poison, grass, and chlorophyll. Just use Venusaur. Tentacool, I mean, Tentacruel, I think it's gonna be, it's a poison type. It has good typing. It has the typing that I wish that Okidogi had, like the water and poison. I feel like that's very good. Like if this thing had like Intimidate, like I think it would be a really even better. Um, I mean, Toxapex just won a tournament, so like you probably rather use Toxapex right now. So I'll say it's probably just a wannabe as well. Toxapex is probably the better water and poison type. This might be a little bit faster and does some things differently, but I think you much rather use Toxapex with the spiky. If this, I don't. With the poison, the baneful bunker, if it got access to that, then that would give it a little bit more use. But I still would probably pick Toxapex. Dodrio, this is a bad Pokemon. It's never really been good. Let's take a look at it. Like, what does it do? It's base 110 speed, so it outspeeds base 100s. It's a physical attacker. Its ability, Early Bird, Tangle Feet. I mean, you don't want to get it confused. And its abilities, you probably would go Early Bird, because nobody's really running confusion type moves, so it won't really need that. Not special, it's physical moves. We can't even click his moves because it's illegal right now, but I don't really know what this Pokemon does. I don't think it's that good. I think it does get access to like Tailwind and stuff like that. But if you guys know what that Pokemon can do, like I said, it wasn't in Sword and Shield either, so I never got to use it, but I know that just overall this Pokemon's not been good. Dewgong, it gets access to Fake Out, but I think there are better Fake Out users. Lapras is coming back too, which is another Water Ice, which is a little bit more bulky and gets access to like Parasong too, so probably just use Lapras, right? Executor, I'm gonna say it's a C team, a C. It fits on one type of team. It's niche, so pretty much, if you want a Chlorophyll user, use like Venusaur or like Hisuian Lilligant. And if you want like a Trick Room Psychic type, then there's a plethora of Psychic type Trick Room users that you can use, like Frigoraph, Crest. So, but it is a Trick Room user that gets Sleep Powder, so I guess that gives it a little bit of a niche, but that's why it's gonna go into C. Hitmonlee, burdened with like Grassy Seed, Psychic Seed. I think it's gonna be pretty niche. It's only gonna fit on those teams that have like a Rillaboom and Indeedee, and your opponent can kind of see that strategy coming a mile away, so they can kind of prep for it. That doesn't mean that it's bad, but it's just kind of easy to see it only fits on those type of teams. Hitmonchan, I'm gonna put it right there with C. It gets access to all the elemental punches, but that's really it. I think Hitmonlee is a much better Pokemon than it though. Lapras, I think Lapras is going to be a B tier. I think it's going to be reliable. I think it's a little bit better than Blastoise. It's bulky. It gets Parasong. It's one of the Parasong users that can stand up to Water Urshifu with a good Terror. And now you can try to get your Parasong off without just getting removed through Protect. Even though, I mean, it can just hit you with close combat, so maybe not even that. I don't think you probably would want to run the Paraset on it, but being a bulky water type, access to Freeze Dry could be okay. You probably won't see Lapras too much though. Meganium, I feel like this Pokemon was done pretty bad. I think it needs like more like Among Us type features for it to be good, like Rage Powder and like Spore and stuff like that. Like, why not give it to it? It needs a buff. These Pokemon haven't been released just yet, so kind of like Empoleon and Shiftry, they kind of got a buff to their abilities, and moves were added to some Pokemon. Hopefully, this will get a buff as well as for Alligator. For Alligator, it's just not good. It's a wannabe. I feel like it's better than F. It has Dragon Dance, but if you want to use a Dragon Dance Pokemon, just use Roaring Moon if you want, and then just Blastoise and Lapras like kind of do the water job better. Urshifu is gonna be in the format, and would you really just pick this water type over Urshifu and like Water Ogerpon? I don't think so. So we're gonna say that one as well. It's gonna be D tier. Lantern electric water typing is pretty unique. It does get like Volt Absorb, so you're immune to like electric type attacks. If Regieleki was a little bit more dominant, I think this might be a little niche for it. I'm gonna say it's probably a C tier because it's bulky and it can Thunder Wave your team and stay on the field and be kind of annoying. So it's gonna fit on like maybe like stall teams. Granbull, I don't think it's gonna be that good. It's a normal type, fairy type, I believe. Yeah, fairy. Just use physical fairy type. Just use Grimmsnarl and you get access to screens, right? I don't really think Granbull can do anything. We can explore it more once they actually get released into the game, so we can see what kind of moveset it has. It wasn't in Sword and Shield, so I never got to play with it. So I'm gonna kind of hold my opinion on it, and we'll do another video once the format actually comes out, and we'll see how good it is at that point. Skarmory, one of those stall types, still flying. I feel like it's the D tier Pokemon. Just use Corviknight. You get Mirror Armor, you can deflect, Intimidate, and you have just bulkier. You have access to Tailwind too. It's just a better mon. Kingdra, this is gonna be a pretty good Swift Swim Pokemon. This Pokemon used to be so good in Sword and Shield. I think it'll be better than Blastoise. It used to be so good in Sword and Shield with Dynamax, and being able to go for like max Airstreams in the rain, max Geysers in the rain, like next to Kyogre, and like it was really good next to Kyogre, like on those powerful rain teams. And I think that also when it wasn't Dynamax, it got access to like Icy Wind and stuff like that. So we'll see what type of support kit it's gonna get once, you know, playing alongside Tornadus or things like that, things that want to set up the rain like Politoed and Pelipper. And it's a dragon type, so it offers you different coverage, right? And like dragon is like, again, it's really good into this format. So I think Kingdra can be, you know, pretty good. So we'll see how well it does. Porygon, excuse me, Porygon's gonna be A. Porygon's one of the best Trick Room setters. It's very bulky with the Eviolite. Now with Terrestrialization, while you probably don't want to Terrestrialize to a dark type to get around Taunt, you much rather, like, Porygon is really good with like redirection to get around Taunt, but it's with Terrestrialization, it's so hard to knock this thing out, right, with the Eviolite. And I guess you can taunt it. Let's put it in B. Let's put it in B for now, because Dusclops and Cresselia are so good at setting Trick Room and Farigiraf right now, and they can get around. They can hold an item, right? While Porygon can hold an item, you definitely want to have Eviolite, which makes it super bulky, and it's gonna be hard to remove in this format. Actually, like, you could probably think of using Porygon as more offensive with like download, and then going for like, you know, special attacking Normal Terror and dealing damage like that, and when your opponents are thinking that you're trying to go for Trick Room. So with an offensive Porygon, I think it actually might. We'll leave it in B for now. I think it's gonna be really good though. Smeargle, I think I haven't used this Pokemon either, but from what I've seen and how it gets access to every move, is gonna be S tier. You're gonna have to have Smeargle answers. You're gonna need to be able to deal with the variety of things that this thing can do. It gets access to every move in the game. Well, as far as I believe TMs, and that's, you know, a very powerful thing to have. Just being able to go for spores and, you know, spiky shields, rage powder, and just a whole bunch of shenanigans to disrupt you is going to be very annoying. So I think it's going to be S tier, and even though people might hate it, it is going to be like a good Pokemon because of, you know, how volatile it is. Hitmontop, it's an Intimidate user with Fake Out. Incineroar is coming back, and I still think Landorus is better. I think Hisuian Arcanine is better. I don't want to say it's a D tier. I'll put him on top in B. It's an Intimidate user with Fake Out. Like, you can't go wrong with that. It gives you like fighting coverage. It's gonna be able to, you know, allow some things to set up and disrupt some things. If you want to use it, it's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be bad. It's just there's better options. But I wouldn't want to say it's a wannabe, because it does have the unique trait of being able to be a fighting type with Intimidate and Fake Out. Raikou, very powerful electric special attacker. I think it's right up there with the Latias and Latios. It'll be decent. I think its new form might be an A tier. We're yet to see, you know, how good its Paradox form is, but I think it's gonna be good. Entei is gonna be another extreme speed user. I think it's gonna be an S tier Pokemon. Sacred Sword, being able to burn and not be able to be intimidated with like next to Chien-Pao. Like, this Pokemon is gonna be good. Like, we thought that, you know, Hisuian Arcanine was good next to Chien-Pao, but now you got something that can't be intimidated, that can also burn, and it can also run that Choice Band set that has the same attack. So it's kind of like, do you want the not be able to be faked out and also be able to burn things more often with Sacred Fire, or do you want like Arcanine with the Intimidate next to Chien-Pao? So it'll be a case to case situation, but I think it's gonna be a good Pokemon in this format. Suicune, I think it's gonna be an A tier. I think it's gonna be able to fit on every team that it wants to go on. And it while it doesn't deal the type of damage that you want, like from Ogerpon, Water, Wellspring, and Urshifu Water, it is going to be like a bulky Tailwind setter, kind of like Roaring Moon, something that gets Tailwind that's not a Prankster user. So Roaring Moon's a fast Tailwind user that's not Prankster. This is going to be a slower, bulky Tailwind user that can stick out on the field. With Scald and things like Snarl, it can be like really disruptive to like both physical and special attackers. And Suicune is a really good Pokemon. It gets access to Bulldoze. It's good at like activating weakness policies and just being, pretty much annoying without even have to use status moves. Like it can just use like an Assault Vest and then go with like Snarl and Scald and stuff like that, and it'll still be really good. And Icy Wind, it's a really good Pokemon. Sceptile is kind of similar to Hitmonlee. I think it's gonna be niche. I do love Sceptile. It was my first starter ever. My first games that I played was Ruby and Sapphire. I did play the Gen 1 and Gen 2 games, but when I first started playing Pokemon, my parents bought me the Ruby game, and so I started with Sceptile. It was my first ever starter, so I do have like a little passion for it. I do like how cool it looks and how it like stands on two. It's a really cool Pokemon. I did use it a lot in Sword and Shield with like the Unburden and going for like Dynamax, like Earthquake and Rock Slides and stuff like that. It does get access to a fast Rock Slide, so we'll see how good it can do. It's gonna be, I think it's better than this because of the grass typing and being like immune to like Rage Powder. It can be pretty disruptive like that. And the grass typing is really good right now with Among Us starting to rise back up in usage. So I think it'll be pretty good. Once I play with it, I'm gonna definitely build a team around it just for nostalgia purposes, and I might raise its rank to like maybe a B depending on how good it is. Blaziken, I think it's gonna be a B tier. It's a speed booster mon. I think it's better than Lapras with fighting coverage. Unless Urshifu's on the field, you're able to get a free +1 with speed boost, and then you just outspeed pretty much everything that you need to. That's not like on Tailwind or like booster energy, right? And now you can go for like powerful close combats and Flare Blitz, and it's a really good Pokemon. I think Infernape's better, but Blaziken's still up there. Swampert, I think this thing needs Intimidate. If this gets Intimidate, I'm gonna put it in A tier because it's gonna be a really bulky, like alternative Intimidate user to like Incineroar. I think this Pokemon can be good. It has the tools like Flip Turn to get out and reposition Intimidate. And just being disruptive. I think it's a good Pokemon. It's bulky. The ground and water typing is unique to it, and like Gastrodon does have that, but this one's a little bit more offensive and it's a little bit more bulkier than Gastrodon. I really hope that it gets Intimidate because it looks like something that would have Intimidate, right? And its abilities like Damp and like Torrent just aren't really good abilities for a starter. And they gave Empoleon, a little blessing as well as Shiftry. So I'm hoping that they show Swampert some love. Plusle, these are not good Pokemon at all. Their abilities, they're just not good. There's nothing much to talk about. Flygon, Levitate. I think it's gonna be reliable. It's a Dragon type. Dragons are good right now, as I keep saying. I think it's around Blastoise tier. It gets Dragon Dance, but you much rather just use Roaring Moon. I want to say I don't think it's that good. I put it down here with like Hitmonlee. I think it's a C tier. I think it's niche. You're only gonna see it on teams that want to set up around it, and people are gonna be using it over Roaring Moon just because they like Flygon. But literally like Garchomp and Salamence, Roaring Moon, Dragapult, all just better, faster, stronger dragon types than Flygon. But it is immune to ground moves, so that's the one niche that it has. Metagross, everybody's talking about how it's going to be a Flutter Mane counter. Any physical attacker that's fast or has priority and can hit hard is a Flutter Mane counter, right? So I think it's just going to be a B tier. I don't think it's going to be as good as you think it is because like Urshifu Dark and Flutter Mane just remove it with like Ghost type damage and Dark type damage. But one thing it does have a good matchup into is Iron Hands. Iron Hands does not like psychic physical attacks, and this has Zen Headbutt and it's stab on it, so it can do some decent damage. I think it's gonna probably be around like Raikou status. We'll see how good it is. You can run like items. It has Clear Body, so you can't intimidate it, which is good. But I think that Entei being in the format can hit it for super effective. Fire Ogerpon, Hisuian Arcanine, Landorus, Urshifu Dark. It doesn't like Urshifu Water either, right? I mean, it can hit it with Zenheba, but it's just gonna Surge and Strikes you first. And then it's a lot of Pokemon that are good. Heatran is really good into it. Heatran's not going anywhere. So it might. I want to see how good it's gonna be, and I might reevaluate it. But like I said, this is gonna be a pre-regulation F tier list. So once the regulation drops, and after a month of playing it, I'm gonna redo another tier list where I talk about more of how these turned out and see how accurate I was with some of these. Rampardos, Glass Cannon, Rock type. Just use Hisuian Arcanine, right? Choice Band Hisuian Arcanine does what you're gonna want this thing to do. It's not really that good. It's just Rock type damage, Head Smash. Hisuian Arcanine does Head Smash better too. So, and I believe Hisuian Arcanine is faster. So, it's just this Pokemon is super frail. It doesn't have Intimidate. Bastiodon, same thing. Really good typing as far as defensive wise, but not able to take advantage of it because of the 4 times weakness. I'm gonna put it about right there. Rhyperior, it has a really good ability that reduces the super effective type damage. So it's always been a good weakness policy user in Trick Room with Dusclops with Bulldoze. Works really well with this Pokemon. I think that it can be it'll be like a Trick Room type thing. I think that's the only place you'll see it. I think it's right around here. I think it might be better than these two, because if this thing gets Trick Room up with Dusclops and weakness policy, it's gonna be a threat to deal with. Intimidate kind of wrecks it, but the typing Rock and Ground is just really strong. It is 4 times weak to water and grass, which is not ideal. But once the weakness policy gets going, this thing is hard to stop in the Trick Room. And it used to be with the Dynamax and its ability to reduce super effective damage, it was a really good user of Dynamax. Electivire, I think it's not that good. I think Hitmonlee's a little bit better. It's right there with Flygon. It's an electric type physical attacker, but just use Iron Hands, right? I think I might just put it in D, because Iron Hands is just so much better. You're just never gonna use Electivire. Magmortar, similar to Electivire, just use Fire Ogerpon, use Entei. It is a special attacking fire type attacker, which would be unique if there wasn't Heatran in the format already running around. And I think Charizard in the Sun is just stronger than this thing too. But I think it's better than Electivire, so I'll put it right here. Porygon Z, this Pokemon is going to be reliable. I think it's normal Terra plus its ability. What is its ability? Adaptability. This thing is going to be it's going to hit like a train with normal Terra, right? And you just got to get the proper speed control. It's going to be really frail. So a really good glass cannon. But the thing about it is, it's a glass cannon that only has 1 weakness to fighting. And it's relatively fast, so it can take advantage of tailwind strategies and stuff like that. It's gonna be a good Pokemon. I don't think it's good as Porygon 2, but I think it's pretty good. It's probably right around Blaziken. You'll probably lose a game to this randomly throughout Regulation F, just because this thing gets in a good position against you and you underestimate the damage it can do, and it just sweeps you. Right. Superior. I think Superior is gonna be really good. I think Superior, Leaf Storm with the contrary ability and being a grass type, I just think being a grass type is really good right now, due to all the grass types running around, plus Amoonguss and Rillaboom being really good. Being able to resist Spore and Grassy Glide, Woodhammer, is just really good in this format. I think it'll be right around, probably better than Metagross. I want to try it out, so it can do some funky things with the Leaf Storm getting a +6 and then having a good Terra with Terra Blast. And under Tailwind, right? And you're just dealing massive amounts of damage. And Boar is fighting, is fire. We have Infernape, we have Blaziken, we have Infernape. I said Infernape already. We have Ogerpon Fire, we have Entei. It's just the meta's not good right now for just mediocre fire types. because we have such a good pool of fire types, it just doesn't make sense to like just use something that's really not that good. Now I wonder if they give it like a new ability. I also can see it like um, having like thick fat or something like that, or just some better ability that it can take advantage of, and it can be good. I actually don't even know Embor's ability, secret ability, because Embor wasn't in Sword and Shield, so I actually didn't get to play with it. Blaze and Reckless, so it's a user of like Flare Blitz. So I guess that's okay. It's a strong Flare Blitz user. It is relatively slow, 65 base speed, so you can kind of use it in the Trick Room. 123 attack is not bad. It's bulky. Well, it's not bulky at all. 65 is actually pretty frail. If it was at least like 80s, then it would be a really good bulky Pokemon. You could put an Assault Vest on it and invest in defense, but it still doesn't take the hits the best, and now you're going to be reducing your attack. So once you get hit with Intimidate, it's kind of like over with for you. So Incineroar's coming back too, so just use that, Zebstrika, electric type, fast type user. Alecki's still in the format. Yeah, just use Alecki. I don't think it's that good. Escadrille. This is gonna bring the Sandtings back. This is a very powerful Pokemon. It's gonna threaten Fluttermane. Fluttermane has to protect Switch or Terra, and even if you Terra, like getting hit with like a physical ground type attack from this thing, it's gonna hurt. I think it's gonna be very good in this role that it plays as a sweeper under the sand, and Tyranitar is gonna really appreciate a steel type sand user. That's a little bit different from Lycanroc. It does also get access to Rock Slide. Lycanroc might be the better Rock Slide user, but the steel type coverage and being like immune to like poison and things like that, being able to take a neutral hit from Rillaboom and be able to KO it back, KO it back is going to be really valuable for it. Whimsicott, you already know this is going to be S tier Pokemon. It's going to be the competition for Tornadus. Is 1 speed. It's a little bit faster than Tornadus. So now you can taunt Tornadus, right? And Tornadus' best item right now is Covert Cloak, so you can't fake it out. But now Tornadus kind of has to go back and forth between whether it wants to run Covert Cloak or whether it wants to run Mental Herb. If you run the Mental Herb, you can get around being taunted by Whimsicott and then just KO it back with a Bleak Wind Storm, and that's also very valuable for Tornadus. But just existing and making it not easy for Tornadus just to go Covert Cloak anymore is already good enough. And then Encore is very valuable. It gets access to Sunny Day, Fake Tears, so it's going to be good next to Fluttermane. It's going to be a really good Pokemon. Just think of it next to Calyrex Shadow, and then think of it next to all the fast special attackers like Chi-Yu and stuff like that. Like setting up Tailwind, Fake Tears, and Sunny Day for like Chi-Yu is just going to like if you can get that going, that's going to be so powerful. Scrafty, Fake Out user. I guess it's competition for Hitmontop. It's a little bit. It's about the same about it. It's right there with Hitmontop. It's like pick your poison. The dark type does help it against like taunt and stuff like that, but they're both relatively around the same amount of bulk. So, and either one of them are going to be able to take a hit from Fluttermane, even though this is 4 times weak to Fluttermane. I guess this could have with an Assault Vest, and this can't, period. But Scrafty just looks cool, so I put it right there. Scrafty's a cool Pokemon. What's this Pokemon's name? I forgot. I know it starts with an M, right? Mincino or something like that. Oh, that's the evolved form. Or Cincino. Yep, this thing gets like Technician and Skill Link, so you can go for like the Tail Slap stuff. And it's pretty fast. 115. It's similar to like Mousehold. At this point, Mousehold's just better, right? So just use Mousehold. Plus, Mousehold has Follow Me with Redirection. Does pretty much the same thing. I think Population Bomb is better than the Tail Slap. So just use Mousehold. Ranunculus. That's gonna be. I want to say it's a C tier. Fits on Trick Room teams. It's a Psychic type Trick Room user. We already have an abundance of that. Frigoraph, Cresselia, just to name 2. Much better than it. It's not bad. It's it's a lot of competition for it right now. So I'll say it's gonna be niche because it's gonna be on those hard trick room teams. Now Crest and Farigiraf, they had the flexibility of being able to be used on teams that are not hard trick room, and they give you like a trick room option or a counter against trick room. This is specifically used to like be on a hard trick room team, right? Because it doesn't really have much use as utility outside of that. So it'll be C tier for those hard trick room teams. I'm starting to forget these Pokemon's name. I haven't seen them in so long. I think it's like Tarantula, Gavantula. I can't remember this thing's name. I know it's Electric and Bug. And forgive me for forgetting this Pokemon's name. It's just been a long time. It was in Sword and Shield, but even in Sword and Shield, it wasn't that good. Yeah, Gavantula, that's his name. 108 speed, it outspeeds base 100. It has the fun niche of being able to one-shot like Charizard with a lightning move, and its thunders are very accurate. I think it can be decent. The bug typing allows it to resist Rillaboom, which is valuable. It resists both Rillaboom going for Wood Hammer or High Horsepower, and it can hit it back with super effective bug type coverage. Base 97 special attack is not bad. 70, 60, 60 bulk is very poor. It's definitely gonna be a focus sash user, like a fast focus sash user. I think it'll be okay. It won't be bad as some of the other bug types. I don't think it'll be too great though. I think it's D because it has Electro Web. You'd much rather probably just use a Lecky. You'll probably end up having more success. But I think it can be used if you want to use it. Why am I forgetting? Why am I having brain fart with these Pokemon? He's Ghost and Ground. Golurk, that's his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Golurk. This is also on Sword and Shield. The no guard, it's probably gonna be, you're gonna see some weird no guard strategies with like skill swap and try to like go for like one hit KO moves and stuff like that. It's a gimmick type Pokemon. I don't think it's that good. Shadow Punch is okay. It can't miss. Sucker Punch is not ghost type, so it wouldn't get stabbed on that. I don't think it's that good. It's just one of those. It's just one of those gimmick Pokemon. I really don't like gimmicks. I think it's D tier. Terrakion. It's a rock fighting. Its typing is really good, but it's just kind of slow. I think it's gonna be niche. It does outspeed base 100. It can threaten Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu cannot deal with this Pokemon at all. It can't hit you with either one of its stabs. So actually, I think it's gonna be a little bit better than Sceptile. Being able to 100% wall Chi-Yu, which is one of the best Pokemon in the game right now, is really good. With an Assault Vest, you can somewhat take a hit from Flutter, even though it's super effective, and threatening back with a KO with like an Iron Head. If you go for Steel Terror, then it'll be really good. But I feel like it's similar to like Great Tusk in a way. But we'll see how it does. I think the fighting coverage could be okay. Fighting and Rock is really unique typing. I can't really think of anything else that really has that typing. And it can hit flying types. It can't be walled by flying types. Kind of like how Great Tusk is walled by flying types. So we'll see what it does. The jury's out for Terrakion. I think its new form might be a little bit better. So we'll see which one people prefer to use. Virizion, it's going to be... I want to say it's a D tier Pokemon. It's cool. Grass and fighting is okay. But it's one of the worst fighting types. Like being 4 times weak to flying, it's not good. Landorus already just deals with you very easily, intimidates you. You can't really do anything into it. Like just being able to be shut down by Landorus so easily is not good for Virizion. And it doesn't really offer any support utility, like a fake out or something like that in order to help. It's just like justify beat up strategies. Similar to Cobalion, it's a steel type that doesn't resist Flutter Mane, which is not good. I think Terrakion is the best out of them. I do think that Cobalion might be... I mean, it can one hit KO Flutter Mane, but it doesn't resist it. I'll put it right here and see. I'm these three is hard to rank because I don't. They were all good, like decent in Dynamax with the Justified stuff. So what I remember them doing kind of still sits in my head. But without Dynamax, like I don't know how good they are. They of course they can always tear into something and surprise you. But those are just gimmicks and like niche strategies, right? And that's why they're gonna go in the C tier for right now. Meowstic is a prankster user similar to Grimmsnarl. It's gonna be reliable. It's a little bit similar like Sableye. It's gonna have the gimmicks. It's gonna be really good in best of one. It's gonna be easy to shut down with an open team sheet. I don't think it's better than Raikou. I'm gonna put it probably like right here. It's better. It's better than Blastoise in my opinion. Yeah, it's probably better than these two. Probably right there at Porygon. I'll put it right there. I think that's a good place for it. It does get screens too. It's gonna frustrate you when you play against it, just like Sableye, because you know it's gonna do some gimmicky stuff to try to disrupt you, but you don't know which move it's gonna do. Malmar, Topsy Turvy can be cool. Now that Dynamax is gone, I think this Pokemon can thrive. Psychic and Dark typing is pretty fun. I'm interested to see how good it's gonna be. I'm gonna say it's niche for right now because I don't know what it can do, but I think that with Topsy Turvy, it may be able to play a certain role. Actually, I think that Topsy Turvy is going to be really unique for it. So I want to put it up here in B. I think it'll be okay. I am interested in the Dark and Psychic. The only thing is, Landorus just U-turns you and probably just one-shots you, right? And getting one-shot with a non-stab move is never ideal. But I'm interested to see what it can do. It's going to be on Trick Room teams, too. It does get access to Trick Room. And it's a Trick Room user that can't be taunted with Prankster Taunt, which is valuable. Incineroar. So this is going to be the best Pokemon returning. It's definitely going to be S tier. This Pokemon is going to be so fun to use. Incineroar is going to be the glue to everyone's team. It's going to fit on those Firewater Grass cores. It's going to bring you Fake Out. It's going to give you Parting Shot. It's going to give you Flare Blitz utility, Dark type coverage. It's going to be really good. With an Assault Vest, it's going to completely shut down Fluttermane, right? And then being able to snarl back on Fluttermane and you turn out, it's going to be a really good Pokemon. It's going to have so many different sets that it's going to run. And it helps check like a lot of the things in the format that kind of get out of control, except the Urshifu's, right? Of course, Urshifu stocks are going to go up because they're so good into Incineroar, especially Urshifu Water. But other than that, like a good Terror on Incineroar, and it's gonna be able to like get Will-O-Wisp off and be able to burn them and have like really good utility. It's gonna be a very good Gloomon, and I love it because I feel like it's one of those things that when the formats start to get out of control and power creep, it's one of those things that kind of like balance it out and keep things from being too oppressive, right? It was able to stick around in a restricted format and, you know, kind of keep Zacian a little bit under wraps. Like Incineroar's existence alone saved us from the wrath that Zacian could have inflicted on us without Incineroar being in the game, right? And for that, you know, it's truly an appreciation for it. Primarina, this is going to be a good B tier Pokemon. It's going to be one of those Pokemon that you want to decide if you want to use it over another water type, but it can be in the conversation because of the fairy typing and how high its special attack is and being able to be good in Trick Room. It's going to be another good Trick Room mon. And it's a lot better than these water types because it's not stuck in the middle whether it wants to like be under Trick Room or not. It knows it wants to play in Trick Room. It has Hyper Voice, which is a water type move, similar to like how Sylveon makes its Hyper Voice into Fairy type. This makes its Hyper Voice into water types, right? And that's very valuable for it. Toucannon, I didn't get to play with this Pokemon, so I'm not really sure what it can do. I hear a lot of people say that it's not good though. I put it in D tier because they're just much better flying types than it right now. But it is cool. It looks cool, so I'm interested to see what it can do. But like I said, I didn't play competitive Gen 7, so I don't know how good this Pokemon is going to be. Araquanid, this Pokemon was incredible with Dynamax and the Water Bubble, but now we have Dondozo, right? So it kind of like puts it on the back end, and like we have so many good water types right now that like it's just not a good market for like mid-tier water types. I do think that it's better than Lapras because of the water bubble. I think it's probably right up there with Raikou. It's going to be a good Trick Room mon. It's going to be able to knock out Fluttermane with a Liquidation, which is valuable, but you got to get Trick Room up first. It does have the bug typing, so it can resist like Rillaboom and things like that. Well, it can't resist it because of the water typing, but it can resist like ground type moves and things like that. So it can be decent. Water bug is a pretty cool typing. Comfy was one of the best Pokemon in Sword and Shield as far as support throughout the entire game. Ally switch with Draining Kiss, able to activate weakness policies on dragon types like Dragapult and Dragonite Dynamax. It's just really good. Floral healing, being able to heal your teammate and have priority on the healing is just like so incredible. Like, this Pokemon is going to be really good support. I'm happy to have it back because it kind of does the same thing that Among Us does with the healing of your teammates and like Sinistcha, but it gets priority on it, right? And it's a fairy type, so now you have something that's immune to like the dragons that are in the format. And like a good Terra on this, like this thing is deceptively bulky. Like, it's really bulky. It's a fun Pokemon to use. I think it's going to be an A tier Pokemon. Alcremie is going to be a B tier. I think it's right up there with Primarina. It does what it wants to do well. It's a Pokemon that's a good support. It has Decorate, which is going to allow your sweepers to do even more damage and sweep the teams even faster. And like Choice Scarf Decorate seems like very good to me. Also like Focus Sash and just being able to sit on the field and be relatively bulky because you don't have to invest into its special attack, because it's more so a support mon, is really good for Alcremie. So Alcremie is welcome. It's a welcome fresh, breath of fresh air. The Rulodon, it's not going to be good even with the Eviolite. I think its evolved form has a chance to be really good if it gets its ability. It does have the fun niche that it can ignore Indeedee and Mousehold's Follow Me, as well as Ogerpon, and still attack your opponent. So with that, I would say it's a niche. It's going to fit on like a certain type of team. I think it's right there with Cobalion with the Eviolite. But we'll see how good it is. Bisharp wasn't good with the Eviolite, and I don't think this one will be either. Last but not least, we have Alolan Executor. I think this is going to be an A-tier Pokemon. Dragon type with Dragon Hammer and Trick Room and Sleep Powder is just so good. Like, it's just like a Sleep Powder user that can set up Trick Room. Like, I did speak about that, but that is rare. And of course, it does something similar to like the other Executor. But the Dragon typing, while you are 4 times weak to ice coverage is not that common right now. And ice coverage might become more common just to try to deal with this thing. This thing is going to be incredible on Trick Room teams. So Trick Room teams got a little bit of a buff by getting a Alolan Executor, because it's something that also does well into Torkoal, right? It can eat a hit from Torkoal. It doesn't just get wiped. And now you can like reverse the Trick Room, go for like a full Dragon Terror. Like Dragon Terror, Draco Meteor is just going to be dealing massive amounts of damage from this Pokemon. So that's going to be it for our tier. Let me know with a comment below if you guys like this type of content. Let me know what you think about my list. If there's anything that you would change, let me know with a comment below. If there's something that you think is a little bit better, let me know how good it can be. If there's something like from Gen 7 that I didn't really have a good opinion on, let me know how good you think that Pokemon is and where would you put it in this list. And let me know if you agree. Now that we finished with it, we can say that, Incineroar is going to be, the best Pokemon coming back. I think these will be okay. You won't see them, the B tiers, you won't see them that often, but when you see them, they won't be bad, right? These in the S and A tier, you're going to see these a lot throughout the format. They're going to be very relevant, and they're going to be probably like the best additions added to the format. I think Incineroar, I don't know how good this thing is going to be with all the funny strategies it's going to be trying to do, but Incineroar, Entei, Whimsicott, Suicune, Alolan Executor, and Comfy. I don't know if they'll be in the top 10, but Incineroar and Whimsicott will definitely be in the top 10 at regionals. You're definitely going to see these two everywhere. They're just that good, and it's a breath of fresh air to have them back, and they kind of help us control the meta a little bit. Whimsicott is what we call an Urshifu killer, or Urshifu eliminator, for a better term. It resists both Urshifu stabs with the water, dark, and fighting, and it can one-shot them with like Moonblast. Whimsicott has a sneaky high special attack that's able to deal really good damage with Moonblast. But that's gonna be it for this video. If you like it, leave a like on the video, subscribe, turn on post notifications, because I am posting Pokemon content every single day, and I'm continuing to grow. We're almost at 300 followers, and we're shooting up to 500, so let's try to get there. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, deuces.